Hello there, shower door pros. What's going on? Thanks for joining us. It's always good to see you guys. You know, sometimes I think I'm not going to show up tonight, but then I do. I look forward to it, man. It's always good to chat with some people who can feel my pain. Can relate to my suffering. But it's not all bad. Sometimes it's pretty good. Hope you guys are having a good week. I am. I'm just kind of playing around. It's a beautiful day. The sun's shining. Just telling the guys here before we got started, I even got out and installed a shower enclosure this week. That's right. Just, keep in practice, just in case. But so that was fun. That went well. Nice people. Uh, easy money. Hey, yeah, so this week I was thinking about just talking about that dreaded topic that we all know too well. I'm talking about hinge slippage. I'm talking about door adjustments. Um, it's something that happens far too often. And I'm just curious what kind of insights you guys can share for, the newer guys coming along and starting to bump up against this issue of, installing shower doors, frameless shower doors, and then get that call a week later, maybe the next day. Hey, the door is dragging. Oh, it's bumping the glass next to it. It's like that's not lining up like it did yesterday or last week or last month. You know, how do you guys approach that? I mean, is there some kind of a tip or a trick or a tool or something you're using, when you do the installation to kind of prevent that? Uh,
Well,
yeah. Go ahead.
I went when I install the hinges. I always push them all the way up to the cutout, so there's no way for the door to drop, down. And also, I use portals. Portals is a phenomenal hinge. I mean, every time I've been using them, I haven't. I can't remember the last time I went to adjust the door, and I'm
Wow.
being honest, I haven't. And if I have to, like, the only thing with portals is that they don't have brush bronze. I don't have that color or some of the other colors that the other companies carry. But when I do run into that issue, I've switched out the rubber gasket to the hard carbon gasket, and I do the same thing. I push it all the way up. I just put a block on top of it because there's no protection there, so I'll just put a block,
Mhm.
slide it up, tighten it down, and like I said, I haven't had a slippage, and I can't remember. Actually, you bring it up, just like I'm thinking about it. Like, when's the last time I actually went and adjusted a door? It's been a while. And I'm being really honest. I haven't.
Wow.
And so, like I said, Portals is the real deal, man. They're a very good hinge. I mean, I know they're kind of pricey, but you have to go talk to your sales rep. Be friendly with them. Send them a Starbucks card. Be really nice. Kiss their ass. They have to kiss your ass for your business. So same thing to you. And so you send them, be really nice to them. Don't be a jerk, and you know what? They'll fluctuate your prices. And my sales rep, she matched a lot of prices that were the other companies were charging me. So you know, you just got to be nice.
That's right. Niceness
Yeah,
counts.
yeah,
And speaking of nice, those people at Portals are nice people.
they're very nice. I noticed you guys had Jennifer Shipley. She's my sales rep. You guys had her on here
Yeah.
couple months ago. I'm like, how did
Yeah.
I miss it? I'm like, dang it,
You weren't here for that, huh?
No, no. She's really nice too. She takes care of me very well, very well. I mean, she's on point. If I need something, then she's right there.
That's
And
awesome.
they're hardly out of stock or anything. They always have stock. So you never have to worry about that. But like I said, but they're limited on their hardware, on their color choices. That's the only thing. But they are, your common black, brushed nickel, chrome, um, and then their brush bronze is their sand brass. And there's cool about them is they have the old school bronze, like the bronze, like the bronze color, not the black. So
Right, right.
they have the bronze, the old school bronze. They have that, which I like because it goes good with the the antique bronze that's out there, which you can't match, and it goes really well with it. It's not exact, but it's close enough. It's best is the best you could get. That's out there. So
Sweet. Shout out to portals. I knew that they were going to come up when I brought up this topic because
yeah, and not knocking FHC, they have a lot of good stuff, and they're coming out with their new hinges. I'm really kind of intrigued of them coming out with their new line. I'm like, I wonder when it's gonna hit the market. I know they're being advertising it. I just know if they're out with their new. I don't know, remember the name of it, but yeah, there's a new hinge coming out for them.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
so they've so I'm really kind of intrigued about trying that. So
Yeah, me too. Yeah, they were just on a few weeks back and we're talking about their new. I don't know if they've changed the model of the hinge at all or whatever, but I mean they're coming out with this integrated gasket that's pre-installed, kind of like Portals has, right?
yeah, I talked to Danny about it. He told me about that. He told me not to say anything, so I haven't. But then they had that meeting with you guys. I'm like, all right,
Now you can say it.
I know his game now. So yeah, so I'm kind of, and they said they're gonna be the same price as what they have now. So they're not even. It's gonna be. They're not gonna charge any extra for that. So
Right,
that's pretty good.
right, right. Yeah, I know a lot of people just swear by Portals hardware. I mean, it's like all they really use.
Yeah,
Like you say, I mean, there's one of the challenges is that you can't get all the finishes, and they don't have
yeah,
like a vast selection of hardware. And sometimes you have to source something from someplace else just because, they don't have everything. But what they have, like you say, I mean, they have in stock.
yeah.
They're never out of stock. I've never known them to ever be out of
Mm,
stock anything.
no.
Um, and then I had an issue once where I was using their hardware and then their, their regular duty series hinge and then their heavy duty series didn't look exactly the same. One of them had kind of a little bit of a bevel to it or something. And that was just kind of a deal killer on that particular job because it just didn't look exactly the same as everybody else's hinge. But so I couldn't really mix it up, in that particular case. But other
Yeah,
than that, I can't think of anything,
yeah,
um, any issue I've ever had, you
yeah.
know.
And what I like about them too is they have different design hinges. They got different little look to it. Like they have like a little step in their hinge, and
Oh yeah, right.
yeah, they have different look. If you're looking for that antique look, they have plenty of handles to go with it. They have you know
Ton of handles.
different handles, different hinges. You're not just stuck with the bevels and the square. They got like not say ton, but they got quite a few choices to pick from.
Mhm.
So, and they'll send you samples. They don't charge you like other companies. They'll charge you a sample. You call her up. So hey, I need a sample. It'd be my on my desk in 2 days. No problem. So I was gotta tell, hey Jennifer, I need this. Okay, send it in 2 days. See you. All right, and I'll have it. And they came out with a new color too. They have rose gold and I think gunmetal. So those are two new. So they were trying to get brush bronze, but I guess they couldn't get the shade right, so they ended that one. So
All right, fair enough. Well, then, other than just using a completely different brand of hardware, what other ideas, what other techniques you guys use to battle that issue?
come on, Timmy, you got the wisdom. Let's hear what you got to
Oh,
say.
we put all our hinges on in the shop and we pre-block them, you know,
So you
across.
block them in the shop.
Yeah, pre-block them in the shop,
So what
and
about
and
adjustment when you get to the job? I mean, don't they ever need to be adjusted a
we
little?
always make sure because we always use clips, we don't use channel. and we make sure we have the right clearance, from the hinge to the door, and an 1/8 inch clearance between that and the panel. And so we know we get to the job, everything's going to fit. It's
And then
like,
if you need to make an adjustment, you make an adjustment in the fixed panel rather than the door.
no, we make an adjustment in the hinge.
Okay.
We put a little notches in them, and so we can shove them in a little bit because you can sand on them a little bit and get
Right.
some clearance. So
So even though they're blocked, you can still like
yeah,
adjust them, loosen them up and move them a little
yeah,
bit.
yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah.
That's a good idea.
So we put a dab of Loctite on the screws, and I haven't had a problem since we've been doing that. And as far as slippage, I've had some, but like 2 years later or something, I'll go back and adjust some. And I'll go back and adjust other people's hinges. But
Right.
they don't even block them; they just come right down on the hinge. So
Nice, nice. Anybody else use blocks in your hinge cutouts? I mean, just as a standard operating procedure.
We do it for
Yeah, I
warranty
do.
stuff.
Go ahead. Who's that?
Oh, I did. But we had a 3-month run where we had all sorts of doors slipping, and it took us forever to figure out why. And we were using blocks all the time to just correct it. We were mediating with just stacking blocks in the hinge cutouts. But what we realized was that 3-month run where we had all sorts of door slipping was the DFI coating on the glass. It was just you could not get the gaskets to stick when
Hmm.
you DFI coated around the hinge cutout. So now, whenever we do our DFI coating, we actually have a sacrificial hinge that we coat around the hinge cutout in the shop, both like so that you don't get any of the coating in the hinge cutout, and it eliminated the slippage. But the other thing that we had an issue with too was with the Sierra Lawrence hinge. If you tighten that plate too tight, it'll bend. I guess they had a technical bulletin out about it that if you over tighten the screws, the plate would almost twist and you
Mhm.
wouldn't get enough compression at the top and bottom of the gasket.
yeah,
So we just don't over tighten those, like snug, no impact or anything, but just switch out the Phillips screws for the Allen key, tighten them, and just keep it snug rather than over tight. And make sure we just don't use the DFI coating anywhere in the hinge cutout area,
yeah.
and it's been fine. But when we did have the issue, yeah, we were stacking the clear blocks in there and trying to remediate with that. But our problem is, like, I know you were talking about the other manufacturers, we just don't have the access to the same
Mhm.
lines of hinges that you guys do. Like, we have CRL and then we have some offshore stuff,
Yeah.
but we don't get FHC or portals or any of that stuff up here. So we're limited.
Right. Good point. So you're saying that what you just put hinges on the door, like you've got some like spare hinges that you just put on the door first and then
Then
do
coat it.
treatment.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And
when we're coating it, we just use just a sacrificial hinge in the hinge cutout while we're doing the 2-step process. So it
are
leaves
you so now are
that
you
part of the
using like
glass
a
open.
fuse cube or what?
No,
Or
we hand coat in the
okay.
shop.
All right.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I've talked to Carl down that
Uh-huh.
like Diamond Fusion about it. Because if you did it in the fuse cube, I don't know how these things would stick. So the other thing he had suggested was isopropyl alcohol around the hinge cutouts just to help give it some friction. Because that's what we use around the perimeter when we tape our glass before it goes out. Like we mask the perimeter with like 1.5 inch masking tape.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that makes the tape stick too, is rubbing it down with isopropyl alcohol around the perimeter. So he said that might be the only way to get these gaskets to stick firmly prior to putting the hinge on.
You
So
could also just use shower guard glass.
what's that?
But you could also just use some Guardian shower guard glass.
Yeah,
That's
well,
what
when I
we
did that in
do.
the past, I couldn't count on them getting the right side coated.
So
Get
what?
both sides coated.
Yeah, I could just pay twice.
Right. Yeah, shower guard's not cheap either, man.
No. And we like
Like,
the DFI because we can do it in the field and like, after the fact too. So
Right.
it's just nice.
I
yeah,
think Tim's a big fan of the shower guard. That's what you use, huh, Tim?
Yeah, I use it all the time.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
that's all we offer. We don't offer anything else.
yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
we did a study and we actually installed a shower guard in one of the bathrooms in our house, and then we did diamond fusion. The long run, diamond fusion I would say is the best, and I have used it, and we've used it for 15 years, and by far diamond fusion I would say is superior.
Wow.
So
What did
we
you
literally did
find?
not clean. We Yeah, we literally did not clean the shower for 2 years. So you would imagine that that shower was nasty. And we actually have a video. And with the shower guard, impossible to remove those water spots. With the diamond fusion, we needed a lot of scrubbing, but the actual coating worked. So, and that was, about like 15 years ago when these coatings were more popular. So we decided to stick with diamond fusion ever since. And yeah, we haven't looked anywhere else.
Wow.
Nice. Yeah, like our deal with Guardian, like with Shower Guard, has no backing behind it, Like there's the only backing behind it is nobody's called us back yet, That's our only testing. So like it's nice, like I always wonder what is it actually like 5, 10 years down the road, So what did you do with your testing and stuff, and what did you find between the two differences, the two different types?
Yeah, so the showers, and I'll share the video. So we
Yeah,
let the
please.
shower pretty much sit there, without cleaning for a couple of years. So the glass was completely, it looked almost like satin edge glass of how dirty it was. So then we say, okay, so now it's time to test it. And then we, start scrubbing, and then you don't get the water spots so easily. And so there's a product that Diamond Fusion has. It's called Glass Rescue. And when you apply the Glass Rescue, the glass literally looked like brand new. And so we had sold Guardian for, a couple of years, not a ton, because at that point, that glass was pretty expensive. And then when we compared to Diamond Fusion, it was a fraction of the cost. Plus we could control it because, as you guys said, sometimes they didn't put the coating on the right side, so we could control it. And at that point we were starting to get into fabrication, so we said, because now we're gonna be in control of this, it was just a much better product. So yeah, so that's pretty much what we did. We just put it to the test. It's supposed to be make the glass easier to clean, and by far Diamond Fusion was superior than Shower Guard, Enduro Shield, and all of the other ones that are out there. Diamond Fusion was the best. So we've used it for 15 years already.
Wow. Well, the DFI people are going to be stoked to hear this call.
Yeah, and I mean,
Yeah.
and that's the reason why we decided to put it to the test in our own house, because we were getting calls, like, oh, this is we're getting water spots, and like we sold it, but we didn't even have that in our own house. So it's like we gotta like know exactly what we're selling. In the meanwhile, we were selling both, but then when we actually put it to the test, then we said, like for sure Diamond Fusion was superior.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I
It's
put
nice.
I put shower guard in my house in a bathtub just when it first came out. And I let it go for 2 months without cleaning it. And I went back and cleaned it, and it came perfectly clean. So it does work.
Yeah, I would say it does work. We just went like to the extreme of literally like neglecting the glass so much that it was like almost etched. So
I should have sent you
yeah,
the. I did a shower one time for a guy, and he had read up on everything, and he wanted a shower guard. He thought it was great, and we did it. And like 3 years later, he called me and said he had to redo his shower pan because it was leaking. So we went over and pulled it out, And we got there, and he hadn't touched that thing since day one. And he swore, "Oh, I just love that stuff. I want it again." I mean, that glass was destroyed. You couldn't even clean it, period. You know.
Yeah, and talking also about the glass slipping. I don't know about you guys, but here in Florida, there are so many companies that sell hinges, and your fabricators have a specific cutout that they use for everything. So if you specify, let's say, Geneva hinges, if you use them from CRL, which is kind of what everybody uses, it has a specific cutout. But sometimes between manufacturers, it could be Portals, it could be FHC, they have slightly different cutouts. So sometimes the cutouts are smaller or bigger. So that's something else that is going to affect the slippage, because some manufacturers only use a certain hinge cutout, and they're not going to cater to every single manufacturer out there.
Negative. I use a CRL program to design all my showers, and I order Portals hardware. Never had a problem with that at all. They fit perfectly, just as good as whatever hardware. So I don't use Geneva. I use either Vienna, Cologne. So I use those ones. I don't use the Geneva ones or smaller. But I use those same cutouts, and yeah, and they fit perfectly. It's exact same thing. Never have a problem. I do
Yeah, and
clean my I do
that's
clean
smart.
and I do clean my hinges with alcohol. And and then like the Portos hinges have a block already built into their gasket. So you just, like I said, I just push it up, tighten it down, and like I said, I haven't had a go back in quite some time
Hmm.
to adjust the door. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, what you said is pretty true, because if you use Vienna, let's say that you could use Geneva, but if you upgrade to the Vienna, you're gonna avoid having those issues. So what is like $5 difference between one and the
Yeah,
other one?
I don't, yeah, I don't,
Yeah.
like I said, I don't use the Vienna because I mean, I don't know. And I get the deep cutout too as for my hinges, so I get more close to the wall. So I have that option to, if I need to adjust. But yeah, I don't see the point of having Geneva hinges because I mean they're just a little, and they're small too. They look like little ticky tack, on the wall. I like them a little bigger. I think it looks nicer too as well. A little bigger hinge.
I swear somebody needs to come up with it. You know how like the corner brackets, they have the Allen set screw that holds everything together. You got the 90-degree corner bracket, and you got a little Allen screw that tightens it down from the bracket to the glass. Like they seriously need to come up with a set screw that you can tighten that just kind of expands into the hinge cutout, and it puts pressure on the top and bottom,
Hmm.
and it secures it going up and down. Like how you have an adjustable hinge where you can tighten it and it holds it in place, but we need to figure out how to get it where there's like an expandable set screw with a little bushing or cushion on it to keep it from being metal to glass.
Like a storefront door.
Yeah, like a storefront door, because you can tighten it. You can tighten a storefront door and adjust it and stuff like that. Because it's
Rack it
putting, yeah,
out.
you can
Yeah.
rack it because it's putting
Yeah.
pressure on there. But do that in a shower door hinge so that it's just putting pressure on it, and that's your blocking, and it's keeping the door set. And maybe at a certain point you could figure out how to use that to adjust it. But to us, adjusting a door is just loosening the hinges and putting it where we want it. That's pretty easy. But you know what I'm saying? Like an expandable set screw that you do and it locks it in place, that's your blocking. Like who's smart enough to figure that out? Not me. Somebody listen.
Well, I think I mean, really the problem's already solved just by having the hinge with the right gasket, that
hmm
configuration, like Portals has, that that FHC is coming out with right now. Or you could just go like the Bill Dobman route. I know he's got a
Like,
this.
I mean, I've had to adjust doors where I've had to break it loose from the gaskets. Like it has not slipped from the gaskets. I've had to like yank on the door to break it free from the gaskets and then adjust it back in place. So at that point, I'm trying to figure out was there that much settlement in the house? Like what? How did it shift? Because I just broke it loose, broke the seal from the gasket to the glass, and now I'm adjusting it. So where did it move? Like there are certain times that it just boggles my mind on figuring out how it moved.
Yeah, that can be the case too. Sometimes the house does settle. I mean, you think about,
But
you hang up door, a piece of glass on a wall, that's like 70, 80, 90 pounds, whatever. I mean,
mhm,
it's gonna make that wall move. I mean, it can. There's potential to. If
yeah,
you're using wall mounted hinges, all that weight's just hanging off that wall.
yeah,
No, I had a new house where we did all the shower doors, and they called me back for one. Said it was rubbing, so I went up and was able to shove it back, tighten it down, and then I don't know, 3 or 4 months later they called again. It says rubbing again. I went up there, the door hadn't moved at all. The house had settled.
Yep,
So
happens.
ordered a new door.
Yeah,
you
that
know,
happened.
you guys were talking about blocking. Like, we won't block a hinge until we've gone back. Like, if we've gone back like a second or third time to adjust it because it's moved, then we'll start blocking it because we're, like, is it settlement? What's the actual issue? Is it moving? Because it's supposed to hold it. So does it need blocking? Maybe, maybe not. But we don't usually do the blocking until we've gone back like a second or a third time, honestly. And then it's like, okay, something's going on. It needs blocking. It keeps moving. It's not normal. So we don't do a blocking as a standard. We just do it when it's necessary.
I'm sure glad Greg Stoll isn't here right now because
He would hate
he'd
He
the
would
want
be.
third
your
call
man.
back. Oh my God, he would be going nuts right now. We don't, we make sure we're in the area. If we're doing a service call, we're we're 5 minutes away from that on a route somewhere before we actually commit to it.
Right.
It's got to make sense.
Yeah.
Even then, your time could be spent doing other stuff. I get it, but you know,
No, I get it too. There's different ways to approach it. When I was
yeah,
working by myself back in the day, I didn't really have, you know, if it's just if you're not having to send like a crew of people out, it's one thing, but when you get to where you've got several trucks on the road, man, those things really cost you.
yeah. Has you guys talking about like slippage and stuff like that and whatnot, but what about this shit? Like, I'm trying to order some stuff from FHC, and the shipping on an oversized header. My God, it's killing me. Like, I'm trying to figure out how
It's
to pass
expensive.
the shipping off. Like, and it's like almost just under $600. Like, we put a line item on the estimate, like shipping maybe $200 to $600, and
Yeah.
then we finally got confirmation on shipment, and it's like just under $600, and it's like
How big of a header do you
passing,
need?
huh?
How big is your header that you need?
It's the Serenity equivalent. So whatever the FHC Serenity is, the Denali or something like that.
Because if you can
It's
get them,
so
because if it's under 8 feet and have them cut it for you, they won't charge you to ship, and they'll just do UPS, whatever you guys have.
it's like 100, and I think the overall span is like 100 and between 105 and 110. It's bigger
Yeah,
than whatever CR Lawrence
uh,
offered stock,
yeah, I have to pay extra. Yeah,
So
I
it's
know it's
just
like the Crescent, it's like they use a Laguna, a bar from a Laguna, and it's
that's
like, what is it like? I think a 12-foot stock length.
yeah.
I
That's what I was
can't
trying to figure out. Like, are there any other options from CRL that are over, 12-foot length or 144 inches or something like that we can cut down
Can
instead
try
of
and
using the
Crown Lab.
Serenity door? Say that again?
Oh,
Crown Lab.
Crown Lab.
What is that?
Are you familiar with Crown Lab?
That's a like a higher end shower door company that sells that particular hardware. So they have a good product, a little bit too expensive, but it does it's rated for that type of weight and length.
Yeah. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by GlassGadget.com. Showcase Innovations creates tools that help shower door installers be more efficient and save time. Check out GlassGadget.com for more information.
So you say it's a higher product. I was trying to think of something that like the shipping is what it is, and then to go with a higher end product, does the shipping offset it? You know, like is it the cost difference going to be what the shipping is? So you might as well just pay the shipping kind of thing.
Isn't there a Sarah Lawrence around you?
Yeah, that's what I was just wondering. How far?
Yeah, we pick up our hardware from CR Lawrence directly, so we don't deal with shipping typically.
But
so can't you pick
normally if you're going to order something, they have to ship it out LA or wherever.
Yeah, but CRL doesn't make a Serenity header longer than 95 or 96 inches.
Serenity. Yeah. So I mean, you don't want to be using Serenity anyway for that.
No.
You know, I mean, Serenity is not a very high quality, in my opinion. It's like not a very high quality product, man. I would be at least using a Crescent.
Yeah.
Doing, you know, working with CRL products, and you can get, like I say, you can get a header like a Laguna bar. They come in longer lengths. That's what I've had to do when I've needed an oversized or just needed a blank. Like when I needed to do like a door in the middle and you know, fix panels on both sides.
Yeah.
You get a blank that's not all drilled up and stuff, you know, and that, you know, that's what I would do. But Serenity, I mean, it's like if it's oversized, man, I wouldn't want to be using Serenity hardware for that.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's a like 105 or 110 inch opening with they want double doors and then little fixed panels on the sides, you know. So I was gonna look into it. So
yeah.
I know FHC offers something equivalent to the Serenity with that size that we need, but I wanted to find a different.
Right?
Yeah, I think it's the Denali, but I was thinking of the Laguna because the Laguna, it's a little more commercialized, kind of ish, but you know, I would imagine they offer longer length.
Phantom. The Phantom. Go with the Phantom.
Ooh,
yeah. I don't know. We'll see. The shipping is just insane. Like the shipping on anything with freight, like we had
It's expensive from FHC. It's expensive.
Yeah.
Like so if anything like that, I got to order. I'll go to CRL because Oldcastle will have it. Or they have it in stock. They'll just ship it to me. I don't get charged shipping with Oldcastle, so I just order with the job and it's all there. Comes already what I need. I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, because usually Sierra Lawrence will ship it up to Union City on the transfer truck.
Yeah.
And then
I just order from Oldcastle. They'll have it. I'll order hardware and everything from them.
If they don't have it in stock, they just went over to Sierra Lawrence and get it.
Yep, exactly. Like I did one
there.
They're going there.
I did one day.
And if they don't have it in Union City, they'll ship it up on the transfer truck. And they go pick it up.
Yeah, I did that. I did one like that like 2 weeks ago. I did a pretty wide one. Turned out pretty good. The only thing is that the Laguna door, you gotta be bar. It's a little bit the thickness is a little different than the Crescent.
That's true.
So you gotta the inserts that go in there, or the screw is not long enough, so you gotta kind of tape it to make it a little thicker to be able to grab.
Yeah, you're right.
To get the screw to tie it, you know, for those fasteners. So that's the only thing.
Yeah. I mean, we get all our stuff. CR Lawrence, we obviously let them ship their stuff to the store in Fulton here, and we'll pick it up there.
Don't you order from Oldcastle, Daniel? Don't you order from them?
Well, we order our glass from Oldcastle, but our hardware we order directly from CRL, and we just go down to their facility here in Georgia and pick it up. You know, it's like 40 minutes away.
Doesn't your Oldcastle stock all that stuff for you already? I mean, don't they have that? You just order a package.
I have no idea. We just order separately.
Ask them about that because that's what I always did. And you don't have to drive to CRL. You don't have to pay for the shipping. Oldcastle, they're the same company. So
but that's like adding a middleman, isn't it? I mean, they still treat it as a middleman.
It's the same company. It's the same company.
And it's
Well, I know
cheaper.
they,
CRL
I
and
know,
Oldcastle are
yeah.
the same company. So it's like, and I mean, I was getting pricing lower than the lowest price that CRL offers from Oldcastle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Literally, kid you not.
Yep.
They were selling me hardware for less than the lowest you could that anybody could get it from CRL, and then
Yeah.
I
delivered
know.
for free.
I
It
know
was,
the Oldcastle truck that we get, they deliver glass to us every day from Oldcastle, but they don't ever have hardware on their trucks delivering hardware to the glass companies around, here.
How do you know?
So, because I can see in their trucks.
well, because usually it's inside the truck. You don't see it. They have it like hidden
It's a
I would
between the
single.
truck.
ask them. I would just
It's a
ask,
thing.
say, hey, I just out of
Yeah.
curiosity,
Yeah.
can I get hardware
It's
from you
a,
guys?
yeah.
Daniel,
No,
what
no.
do you use the showers
Or,
online
or
for
don't.
your showers? Do you have a program?
We use showers online. We yeah, whatever Oldcastle offers. We use Oldcastle showers online, and then we
Yeah.
submit. We'll send them the drawings from Oldcastle, and then we'll order our hardware separately through
Yeah.
CRL.
So like on the showers online, when you go to your order, it should say, you know, glass or hardware, both. Click both and see what happens next time. See if you get the hardware.
I don't mess with that stuff. I have a guy in the office that does it,
The guy
and
do it.
it's
Let the guy do it.
like I haven't messed with that. Like I learned how to use showers online once and taught somebody, and I haven't looked at it since, honestly.
So I'm looking at it right now. Yeah.
No, I gotta be selling stuff. I can't be messing with the showers online.
Uh, yeah. No, but next time try it. Try ordering it. Tell your dad, hey, next time it says order both, time to click on both and see what happens.
He doesn't order stuff. We got a different guy.
Got a guy.
My,
You got a guy for everything, so do we.
Got a
So
guy.
I don't
well,
feel bad.
yeah. No, my dad needs to be driving his boat around on the lake, not working.
That's right.
So who does all ordering? Somebody else or what?
Yeah, I got a guy from Florida. My cousin moved up from Orlando, and he kind of turned into our assistant, and then we turned him into a pricing guy, and he's a tech person, so he's very good. We have anyways, he takes care of that. So
All right.
we watch him and taught him and watch him and teach him and guide him.
Watch him and teach him.
Yeah, it's nice about
Yeah.
having family working for you because you could talk to them a little bit in a way that you can't talk to your other employees. Because you got to worry about their
No,
feelings. Your cousin, I grew up with you. I see, shoot. You
no,
call
I
him a
don't know him.
knucklehead. You call him
I don't.
freaking dumbass. And it's okay. You can't tell your employees that, because
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah, I'll have to look into it. I'll ask Oldcastle. Our rep
Yeah.
doesn't even ask us about hardware though.
Huh.
It's all just straight glass.
It's interesting.
Try it out.
Maybe different down
Right.
in this area,
Yeah.
It is. I mean, we have we have a warehouse right near us, so we just drive down and pick it up, and who knows? Who knows what kind of pricing we're getting ordering it directly from CRL versus Oldcastle, even though they bought them out and they're the same damn thing. Who knows?
You'll be surprised. Just try.
Yeah, I mean here, like when it was my rep who talked me into to get ordering it that way. He's like, dude, you should be ordering your hardware straight from us. Because I was like, Adrian's saying using showers online. There's a button in there. I mean, I don't know if you guys do this, but you can send your order straight to Oldcastle right out of the software without printing anything, without faxing anything, without emailing anything. Send them straight, the files.
So easy.
And then like Adrian's saying, you can also include the hardware with it. And it was like my rep who said, hey, you should be doing this, man. We'll give you really good pricing on it. And it was like I was blown away at what the pricing was. In fact, I checked it and it was like it was like lower than I could even imagine.
Yep.
It's crazy.
It is lower. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think my cousin draws them, and then my wife, she orders them, so they both have access to the program. We have a couple seats or whatever, and he'll draw them, and she'll order it, and whatever.
And review it and then order whatever. It's good to have like two people look at everything.
Yeah. No, he'll draw it. He'll draw it. My dad will review the stuff and make sure it's correct, and then submit it to my wife to order.
Check it.
Yeah. He used to do hand drawings, so he used to be the only one who could freaking draw up a shower door. And I said, no, 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 no. we can't teach that. Your drafting skills are not, not, we can't all do that. We can't all draft. So
Right.
so then we introduced them to online services. So
Smart. That's smart.
mhm.
It's a step in the right direction, that's for sure.
God, yeah.
Adrian, who do you deal with at Oldcastle?
Brandon Moore.
Brandon Moore, yeah.
Yeah. Brandon Moore.
Brandon's the man. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's really a
Guys
good
like
guy,
that.
man. Yeah.
He's the best rep I've ever had, probably at any company.
The only bad thing is now he doesn't do showers though. He does inside sales
Oh,
now.
that's right. That's right.
So, but
But he is on showers though.
Yeah, he doesn't do that no more though.
No, I just got a sales rep came down from that calls on me all the time that does the metal. And
Yeah.
he gave me his email account and said he does the shower doors. They've changed a lot up there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But I still call him and I'll pick on him and hey man, he's still my rep, man. That's why I dealt with him in the beginning.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
mean,
I'm
he's
used
the
to.
inside down doing the shower doors, as far as I
No,
know.
no, he does inside. No, he does everything, but he's a shower door. I don't know. I don't know what his position is.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he doesn't do that anymore.
Huh.
Anytime I need a shower door or something, I gotta talk to the shower door people, and sometimes it's hard to get a hold of them.
Yeah, I don't know if you looked in the chat, but Rob has posted a couple of pictures. It's funny. He pulled up a poll that I did like 5 years ago or something about on this topic. It's funny. And so that's in the chat. And then also this cutout for heavy duty hinges. Check that out, save that to your files. It's good for you.
Ryan Shoemaker, do you have any other shoemakers that live in my area, California?
No, because otherwise I'd be there, not here.
Exactly.
No, because I got two tile contractors. They're brothers, and they both have their own separate, and I do work for both of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. All right.
No, not
You look
really.
like Danny Donahue a little bit, bro. A little bit. You got a little. Doesn't he look like him? Danny
Danny?
Donahue? Yeah, he looks like him just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, we got relatives named Shoemaker too down here.
See?
No, no kidding.
In my area?
No, in Carmel.
Oh, okay. Well, you guys are related, huh?
Yeah. Same last name, same company name.
Yeah.
There you go.
How many coincidences does it take?
Right.
So anyway, the topic is door adjustments and hinge slippage. What do you do to prevent that? What about go backs for those, So let's say someone needs a door adjusted. How long do you extend a warranty like that to adjust someone's door?
Honestly, you guys might think I'm crazy, but I give them a lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're good as to say you are, then you know what? You put your mouth with, your work with show it with that.
You take care of your customers.
And people want, and if and for adjustment, I'm there right away. And like if I'm nearby, even if the same day, if they got need an adjustment, I'll shoot across town. I don't care. That's good customer service, my man. It's just, but yeah, I give them a lifetime. And especially portals and stuff like that. I mean, like I said, I mean, every time my customers, my workmanship is lifetime. So yeah. So
Well, I haven't spoken tonight. Been out working in the lawn, so listening as I've been enjoying the outdoors.
hey, where's Christina?
Huh?
Where's Christina? I haven't seen her in a while.
Oh gosh, she's been so busy. It's unbelievable.
Oh,
So
okay.
she does a lot of other stuff other than shower door stuff too. She's involved in dance and a bunch of other stuff, teaching. So and they just bought a house downtown. So,
Oh,
they're way over their head right now doing stuff. But
congrats.
yeah, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the non-asbestos gaskets, but a few years ago at the glass build, I went to what was that? The Dreamline booth, I think it was. And I said something to them about slippage, and they handed me some non-asbestos gaskets, said, try these. Well, I really didn't try them. Until lately, and we're experimenting with them. So far, so good, but it's way too early to tell. But evidently, Sierra Lawrence is going to switch to that. That's going to be their answer to their gasket problem. And it kind of looks like a head gasket on a car, but a little more grippy, a little more. The ones I've seen, some of them are black with kind of like a rough rubber texture. So I don't know. Has anybody heard of the non-asbestos gasket?
I didn't know anything about those.
So I'm first time hearing about it.
We have one supplier that does have those that we get them on our hinges now.
Yep. And I'm kind of thinking some of the commercial hinges come with that type gasket as well already.
The patch fittings do. Hydraulic patch fittings and top patch fittings come with those.
Mhm.
Yeah, we have
that might
one
be
line.
the same or similar. Yeah.
Yeah. We have
So-
one line of shower hinges. They're an offshore hinge, but they have those as well. The only downfall is they don't have the 90-degree bend in them to cover where the metal and the glass would connect
Yeah.
if the hinge were to slip. It's just a flat gasket.
That's never been a problem for me. In fact, I kind of don't like that fitted gasket anyway. So for me, it's more of a plus not to have it. But, so far, so good. That's all I can say. We haven't been using it long, but it's been used in Europe for quite a few years with, I think, Portals. Portals is using that one on their European product.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we also switched to Portals. I mean, a year ago, and I tell you what, it's been smooth sailing, no problems with it, slippage. So it's worth it. It's just amazing, night and day. So,
Nice.
yeah, I'm not sure what else we were talking about other than hinge slippage. One thing I will tell you, it's a little trick that I've used is also epoxy putty to use as a blocking, and that worked miracles too when we were using Sarah Lawrence hinges.
Yeah,
So-
actually, I remember you talking about that, and I actually tried that. I got a stick of that putty that it's like plumber's putty or whatever. I got
Yeah.
the exact brand that you said, actually. And it comes like a long stick, like it's like 12 inches long or something.
Yeah,
It's pretty
10 inches.
cheap. And you just if you've never used this epoxy putty, it's cool. You just cut off a slice of it and you knead it until it's all one color. And then you got about, I don't know, 3, 5 minutes or something to work with it. And it sets up and it's like a rock. So you can get your door set, stuff it in that void, and like in 5 minutes it hardens and it's like the door is going
Yep.
nowhere.
So Shannon's husband, Mike, I shared that with him a couple of years ago, and he loves it. They do it on every door.
Yeah.
So, but I don't do it anymore. I mean, if you're using Portals, you don't have to.
Yeah.
So,
Awesome. There you go. It's a great tip. That's exactly the sort of tip I was looking for here. I had forgotten about that until you just mentioned it. Yeah, that's
Remember down in Houston, the guy
Mhm.
from U.S. Horizon,
US Horizon.
he was there and he was talking about their gasket. It was a fiber, some sort of a fiber gasket that worked better.
Their gasket was just, I mean, last I used their product, it was just a rubber, like a flat
Yeah.
rubber gasket. It's a little bit more substantial than CRLs, but they're also owned by the same
Yeah, I know
company.
they're also owned by the same. In fact,
But
he was at the Sierra Lawrence booth.
I like their products. I like
Talking about it.
US
Yeah.
Horizon. They've got good products.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what's nice is that they're all actually thinking about it and concerned about it, and we've expressed enough concern or problems with the slippage that they're all trying to figure out a solution for it. It seems like they're all trying to figure something out, which is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe there'll come a day when we won't have this problem anymore.
Could you imagine if we didn't have to deal with shower door slippage, like how much more productive we could be?
Totally. It's like probably the number one cause of go backs.
It probably is for shower door people. Yeah, I would think
Yeah,
so.
it definitely for sure.
Mm.
By the way, I did not mention, my understanding is that these will be available sometime in June from Sarah Lawrence, the ones with the non-asbestos gaskets.
Okay, so
So
now will you just order them separately or will they come already in the
they're supposed to come with it, and I think they've got to work through their inventories, of course.
Yeah.
But I think all their new inventories are going to have it.
Yeah, I think
So
FHC was saying the same thing that like they've still got some stock, of their old yeah, hinges that they've got to get through, but then these new hinges with the integrated gaskets are going to be the standard going forward. So I mean, it'd be cool to be able to order from any company and not, know you're not going to have that problem.
Yeah, because Danny brought out a different gasket at the show too.
Is
That
that
they
right?
that they're I shouldn't show you this, but he brought it out and showed it to us. And it was a different
Okay. It
material. So
was still experimental at the time.
yeah.
hmm.
Lots of experimental stuff out there in California.
Oh yeah, it's all experimental. I
Yeah.
put the mental in experimental.
Uh, has anybody has anybody used any of those new hinges from FHC that have the built-in gaskets, or they not got a hold of them yet?
Not so far. I haven't seen them yet. Not in real life.
Not
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, I don't think they're out yet. So, like Chris is saying, they're gonna wait. They have to wait for all the inventory to be gone. That's what I heard. It might be up to a year before they come out.
Yeah, because they had a whole warehouse full of hinges to get rid of.
Yep.
There you go. So, does everybody else here offer like a lifetime warranty to adjust doors?
We offer overextended warranties sometimes on shower door adjustments. It really just depends. If they're a good builder, if they're a good customer, sometimes we offer a 1 year warranty on that stuff. But if it's local and they're easily accessible or they're easy to work with and they can wait till we're in the area, or it's a builder that is just one of our amazing builders that we love working for, and we'll jump through hurdles for them. It just kind of depends. The easier they are to work with, the more extended we are.
Yeah. What's your standard warranty on that?
1 year, 1 year,
That's pretty
one
standard.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do, like I said, I do a lifetime on my workmanship, but like on hardware, depending who I get it from, like if it's portals, I'll give them the lifetime warranty because that's what they offer. But like
Mhm.
CRL or FHC, I think the others are 3 years. I'll explain that to them. 3 years, and then I'll swap it out for them no cost. Man. It takes
Well,
what
CRL just extended their warranty to some, what, 10 years or something?
Is
10
that
years,
right?
really?
I
Okay.
believe.
I'll
Something
just
like
tell them.
that.
I'll just still tell them 3 years because I don't want to.
Yeah.
Well, what do you do for like I've gone to service some doors before where the gaskets, the black gaskets are like dry rotted and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
I go to service it or like I'm there doing a new install and they say, "Hey, can you adjust this door too? It's been installed a long time ago and it needs to be adjusted." You go look at it and you'll be like, "Oh crap, those gaskets are dry rotted. They're gonna as soon as
Yeah.
I loosen it, they're gonna it's gonna fall apart." So then what do you do? That's not a lifetime thing. And then
No.
replacing the dry rotted gaskets is not a simple thing. I mean, it's simple essentially, but it's not a 5 minute fix, you
No.
know?
Eh,
We charge a service charge for that, Daniel, and
Yeah.
it's when we're not cheap, but we
Yeah,
also really back it up, and we usually will quote them for new hinges versus fixing what they've got. But
hmm
there's basically no warranty on fixing what they've got, but we can
yeah.
extend. In fact, I don't even know what our warranty is for a service job. It's at least 1 year,
hmm
probably three, like is our standard.
Yeah.
And I'm actually considering just going to a 5 year warranty, just because it's happens, but it's rare when somebody calls me 3.5, 4 years later, and so I'm not really sure what I'm going to do on that. But bottom line
Yeah.
is, right now I'm 3 years, and I'm retail. I don't solicit builders. We do have builders soliciting us, but we don't really solicit builders. And and I guess if it's through a builder, you're going to be kind of 1 year anyway, because that's really what the consumer has with the builder. And but if they called me, I'd take care of it. You know.
Yeah.
yeah. If it's somebody else's stuff and if it's not my install, I'll charge. But if it's
hmm
my install that I did, I'm kind of lenient on it because the least I could
Have
do.
you
Because I'm not the
have you
cheapest either. I'm not the cheapest. I'm probably one of the most expensive shower installers around here. I'm not. I don't compete with the cheapest guy. If you want the cheapest guy, go for it. You know, you'll see the end result later.
Yeah.
Me, I charge a little more. It's not all about being cheap. It's all got you know. And I
have you
take
Yeah.
my
ever
time.
ran
And I take my time. It's not like an hour to do an inline panel. I take about 2 hours on the inline panel. 2.5 hours. I take my time.
Yeah.
Make sure it's perfect. So, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good note to end on. Charge a little
Hey,
more, have like better quality, give good service. I like what Daniel was saying about, hey, it depends on the customer, right? The customer's like the customers are nice and friendly. It's, I'll go kind of the extra mile for them, and yeah. It's all just about like, treat people the way you want them to treat you, pretty much.
Hey, Chris, can I suggest a topic for maybe next week or a
Oh,
different time?
I wish you would.
How about what type of innovation we would like to see in the shower door industry?
Oh man, that's a great topic.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Okay.
All right, I'll get it on.
can we just go ahead and talk about it now?
Nope, I gotta go have dinner.
Done.
My
All
wife
right.
is my wife is innovating some food for me right now. All right, you guys, great talk. Thanks for
All
showing
right.
up, man.
Yep.
Great
Thank
evening.
you, Chris.
All
Hey,
right.
my pleasure.
Good night.
See you
Good
next
night.